There's a sense of, nostalgia, in a sense, that's even building today of the times that have passed.
Yeah.
Of what, and I don't think it's all doom and gloom.
I don't think so.
I think we can steer this.
Well, I think we're always steering it. I think this is the battle that human beings have been involved in since the beginning of time. I think this is probably the reason why religion was created in the first place, or the observable religion. I think we have always realized there's this battle of good and evil in us, and a part of it comes from how we originated. We originated as these barbarian tribes competing for resources, fighting off other marauding barbarian tribes, fighting off predators, and trying to stay alive. So we've unfortunately got this intense history of chaos and of savagery that we're trying to move past.
Right.
Slowly but surely over time.
And I think a catalyst for this is psychedelics.
I think so too.
I think psilocybin mushrooms are unique because it democratizes the access to psilocybin. MDMA, you can't grow in your closet. Psilocybin mushrooms, there's no economic barrier on psilocybin mushrooms.
Right.
It's available for the poorest of the poor.
They just fucked everything up in 1970, didn't they?
1971, I think. 1972, when they put it on Schedule 1.
Yeah.
The Schedule 1 substance is supposed to has no medical benefit, highly addictive, and potentially toxicity. Did you know the LD50 lethal dose of psilocybin mushrooms is 42 pounds?
Yeah, that's a lot.
42 pounds.
And that only kills half the people.
Only kills half the people. You die from indigestion. That's for psilocybin.
You die of diarrhea.
Yeah.
Imagine the diarrhea you get eating 42 pounds of mushrooms.
I mean, that's
Good
the
Lord.
least toxic, one of the least toxic medicines ever found in nature. But
there's a concern, though, with people that have problems with mental health, though, right?
I don't think psilocybin mushrooms or psilocybin is good for people who are psychotic.
Right.
I think there are the groups of people. We do need psilocybin or psychedelic assisted therapy. It's super important that people who are experienced can help other people who are inexperienced process.
Yeah.
That's really important.
I think so too.
So,
I think that's probably part of one of the things that's really wonderful about the community of people that have experienced these things is that they do understand how life-changing it is from a personal perspective, and they can aid people and help them through it. And if they're good people and they can show you like, hey, I've done this, it's going to be scary, it's going to weird you out, but ultimately you're going to come out on the other end of this a better person.
And you just met my partner, Dr. Pam Crisco. She is part of a group called Roots to Thrive in Canada, and they have Canadian health approval for high doses of psilocybin. Interestingly, we just published a paper on pure psilocybin versus the mushroom psilocybin with patients who have taken both. I'll talk about that in a second. But these are end-of-life patients, typically with stage 4 diagnoses, oftentimes cancer, and they're just existentially disturbed. I'm going to die. I'm going to leave my family. What are they going to do? Lots of heartbreaking thoughts, etc. They do a long preparatory period together as a group. They have a commonality that they all have terminal illnesses and terminal diagnoses. So they have that thread that holds them together as a community, because they talk about the difficulty in their estate planning and talking to their daughter and how they're going to miss them, and they're going to all those dynamics that we all know about. But this always brings me to tears. They're doing it on indigenous land with indigenous elders also participating. So, and what happened from one of the experiences that I can share with about a dozen or so terminal patients, high doses of psilocybin, and the indigenous, especially in the Pacific Northwest and in Canada, when you do psilocybin, the first 20 minutes is left off. You hit an hour, you're starting to really get high, an hour and a half, you're peaking. And just at the peaking of this experience, unbeknownst to them, the elders had a drum circle next door, and they started playing drums. And the impact of having those indigenous elders recognizing that these patients are on the journey to the end of their life, and they respected them enough to say they needed this. The impact of that indigenous wisdom to help these terminal patients was so impactful. And this is where I think This is a great opportunity. And then the common theme is that those patients became the counselors to their families. They went back and saying, it's okay, I'm dying. I'll be okay. You'll be okay. And the families are going, WTF, what is going on here? And this happens with law enforcement. This happens with PTSD and soldiers. This is happening with terminal cancer patients, is we all are going to die. That is a fact. To be able to come, to be able to come at peace to the fact that your mortality is near. When you're 20 years old, you don't really think about this. But when you get older and older, I'm 69 turning on 70. I feel like I'm 35, but that's not true. I just feel like, I didn't exist in this form before I was born. I'm going to be going back into molecules that'll disambiguate into atoms, reassemble into new molecules. I'm part of the continuum of existence. And I think this is what these psychedelics give a lot of people confidence about the fact that they will always and have always existed and will exist forever.
If your molecules are going into the continuum of existence, what do you think the purpose of you being here now is? What do you think the purpose of the present moment of your life as you're currently living?
That's the great question of all time. But I think even the construct of the question is confined by the limitation of our ability to construct that question. I think we're maybe asking the wrong question. I think the purpose of our being is a tautology. We are being here because we are. Mm-hmm. And I don't think again, look at the Rogan telescope images. I have a friend, a dear friend. It's incredible. Millions of galaxies.
Right.
When you see the enormity of the universe, I can't wait to fly. I want my molecules and atoms to fly through space. And
oh, boy.
I would love to see the rings of so many planets. I'd love to see supernova. And I feel like, that's the direction we're all headed towards. So,
whether you like it or not.
Can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Have you paid attention to the James Webb Telescope discoveries?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's some insane stuff where they're finding these galaxies that they should have not been able to be formed as quickly as they are.
It's an order of magnitude higher. They can do the entire the visible universe, I think, in about 3 days. That took otherwise months to do.
Yeah.
So the assembly and AI is helping, of course.
Right.
So I think near Earth asteroids. This is an impactful discovery, literally. I always worry about an asteroid coming from behind the sun, and then how many.
It's probably been the reset for civilization over and over again throughout time.
Well, that's the proliferation, for instance, of psilocybin. I fund a lot of different things.
Panspermia, right?
Well, I have a business, and I created my business specifically to do research. But one of the Utah State University, I funded a study on the evolution of the genes that code for psilocybin. And the results, it's a molecular genetic clock data. There's variability of a few million years in interpretation, but the arrival of psilocybin in the fungal genome is about 65 million years ago.
Whoa.
Wow.
Right.
That's interesting. After the asteroid impact. Now, is association causation?
Not necessarily, but probably makes sense.
There is a new asteroid. Look, there it goes.
This video on the New York Times article. I don't know how to control the video, so I just let it replay.
These are 3 different asteroids. There are 9 asteroids.
Yeah, it's showing here these discoveries, and here in a second, it'll show you that how in the timeline of the discoveries, it'll show one day right here. I think it is. They discovered 800 or 900 in the first day.
Oh boy.
400 or 500 more the next day.
So
a couple hundred more the next day. But watch how it zooms out here in a second to show you where this is. It gives you a perspective. So this is 10 days in.
Whoa.
Wow.
And then it zooms out here again further.
Oh, no.
So they discovered 2,000 asteroids in that tiny little sliver right there.
I haven't seen this.
Oh, boy.
Whoever made that video, that's awesome.
Jamie, you're the master of discovering these things. I mean,
what should people, when they want to find
It's in the New York Times article about the Rubin telescope that came out probably today or yesterday.
And they're keeping much of this undercover, so to speak. The scientists are very disciplined. They're only letting a little bit out at a time.
Keep people from freaking out?
Well, not everyone think that. They're trying to be good scientists. They're trying to assemble the data in a fashion that, they don't have to redefine later. So
Has
and
this
plus
telescope recently come online?
just in the past, well, it's been online, I think, for a few months. The data is just being revealed now.
Wow.
But I think
3.2 billion pixel camera. It's the largest ever created.
In 5 years from now, you'll have that on your phone.
I mean, maybe. I was wondering what kind of lens they made to go on it, but
Wow. Look at that thing. That's insane.
and if they had that telescope out in space, they wouldn't have the interference of our
Right.
atmosphere.
But how would you get that thing?
So
What kind of a rocket
when
would you need?
Go back to those images. This is astronomy 101. I'm not telling you anything you don't know necessarily. But all those stars, all those galaxies are in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of millions of years ago. We're just a coincidence of seeing them right now.
Right, because the light has just reached us.
With just reaching us.
Yeah.
So that's what's so fascinating to me. This is a snapshot of multiple histories converging to one point of view.
Also, Voyager 1's about to hit the 1 light day travel mark, which is a significant mark, but it's still not that far in the grand scheme.
See, when I trip on psilocybin, this is what I love doing. Just trying to comprehend the enormity and the beauty of the universe. I believe the universe is full of love. I think that, we're built on relationships. And when you have relationships, when you have a quorum of individuals that are sharing assets, you build a community.
Well, you certainly see that with human beings. The question is, what kind of life are we experiencing in these other planets? Like, what is life for them? Should we be so naive to think that it went along the exact same linear path as biological life on Earth, or is it completely unrecognizable? And when we're dealing with intelligent life from other planets, maybe they'd be so intelligent that they wouldn't travel, and maybe they don't need to. And maybe they're also dealing with solar systems that we have as a result of multiple impacts, including the creation of Earth itself, right? There was Earth and there was Earth 2. We were hit by another planet. They think that's what created the moon. Like, all that stuff leaves debris. It's all flying
debris
around.
fields.
And if it wasn't for Jupiter, we would have never made it this
Absolutely.
far. Never made. That's our protector.
Yep, absolutely correct.
We would have never made it to 2025. We would have been dust a long time ago.
We have a form of biological myopia, thinking that we need sunlight and oxygen for life.
Right.
And now, from Chernobyl, we know that fungi can use radioactivity as an energy source. Mm-hmm. We have methane-based organisms.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so
methane-based organisms.
I believe matter begets life. Life becomes single cells. Single cells form chains.
Yeah.
They branch. Networks form.
Right.
And within these networks are associations of members that exchange resources. I don't believe that evolution is based on survival of the fittest. I believe evolution is based on the extension of generosity beyond that of your own needs to build a community of reciprocity.
Certainly human evolution.
I think it's happening all over.
I think it's happening
animals.
with tigers and gazelles.
I think absolutely. We're animals. New news. We're animals
for sure. But they're not very generous. They're just trying to eat and survive.
There's a great. On Chile, there's a great footage. It's amazing of these orcas, aka killer whales, just devastating a seal population, eating them. You may have seen this. Mm-hmm. And after they were satiated, these orcas would take the pups and they push them up on shore to save them. Just to save them.
Well, they're very intelligent, which is one of the more interesting things about orcas, that they don't kill people unless they're at SeaWorld.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is probably where they should be killing people.
Yeah, I just met a herpetologist, and I raised snapping turtles when I was a kid. So I have the turtle necklace. I was this very shy boy with a profound stuttering habit, but my friends were wild snapping turtles. And this herpetologist, he goes, well, I had snapping turtles. They're really mean. And I had them in my aquarium, and they kept on trying to bite me. I go, no shit, Sherlock. I had wild snapping turtles in a pond. And I went down there. I fed them celery and lettuce. This is when I'm 8 years old. I had them for about 7 years. I grew up with successive families. And at first, they would try to bite me and things like that. And then I realized if I put out a little salad bowl for them, they wouldn't fight each other because they're not trying to bite me. They would try like, I want the carrot from Paul,
Right.
When I put a little salad bowl there, they kind of all came together and they cooperated. And so I was just reflecting on this yesterday. One of my fondest memories when I'd walk towards the pond and boop,
They
boop,
pop up. Oh, Paul's here.
Paul's here.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so snapping turtles have an amazing ability. They can snap flies out of the air.
They're so fast.
They're so fast.
I saw this video of one eating a fish. They put a fish in front of it, like a dead fish, and it eats it so fast it just disappears. It just it just snaps its neck forward, engulfs this fish, swallows it all, and it looks like a magic trick.
Oh my gosh!
You have to look at it in slow-mo to even see the actually action of it.
There's so much sea life there. The British Columbia is just full of sea life. It's
it certainly is.
Amazing.
Incredible place.
Yeah, I love it. I love it being there. So, this is a beautiful planet. Where we live, there's no garbage. And when visitors come to visit us on our island, I said, have you noticed? There's no garbage anywhere. Not ditches, anywhere. It's because the ethos of that community is to take care of the ecosystem.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
and that can be done if you have a small community of like-minded people. The real issue is when it gets to the size of something like New York City, this becomes this diffusion of responsibility where you don't think that you have to be concerned with all this garbage that's on the ground because there's 20 million people walking around. It is what it is. Keep moving.
Or India. I'm just
it's
heart torn by India. It's such a spiritual place, and there's so much garbage. China as well.
But the India thing is nuts because it's also in these areas where a lot of the stuff that people buy that's inexpensive in America is being manufactured. And these factories whose the back of the factory opens to this river, and this river is completely choked with plastic and garbage and just junk. And all the stuff that they don't want, they just throw into the river. And there's so much stuff in the river that I guess they just feel like, well, it's not like I'm polluting something that's not already polluted. I'm just adding to whatever's there. This is just what we do. And so they've developed this culture of like constant, consistent pollution.
Yeah, we all need to, even teaching our children constantly to pick up. But there are communities that are examples of doing it right. Mm-hmm. And this community that I'm associated with, I'm just so proud of them.
I wanted to talk to you about something that you said earlier because you were talking about human species and or species and love and cooperation and all the different things. And I said that uniquely with us, yes, love and random acts of kindness and community are incredibly important. But why do you think we're so different than all the other species on the planet?